Good Tuesday morning, everybody. Welcome to my NFL Week 7 recap. So I'm Mason Zapesky, your host here with you, and today we're going to go for all the Week 7 NFL action and recap it. So yeah, we're going to recap every game except the Steelers game. I did that already on my Steelers game day post game, so it should be up by now. YouTube was very slow with me for uploading the videos for this week, and that's disappointing for me, so I'm sorry about that. So yeah, hopefully you are able to see that right now. Here, let me check. Since I have my computer open for you guys, because we're going to go for the games. As I burp. I burp on every single video. I don't know why. I thought at first it was the mornings, just because I ate breakfast and all that, but it certainly is not. Okay, the pregame show is up. Okay, yeah, both the pregame and postgame shows are up. So yeah, looks good. So please, if you want to, give that a view. Anyway, now I have a busy day going today, so we're going to get right into things here, and I'm going to try to go relatively quick. Not a lot of games because there were a lot of buys this week, so time to move quickly here. So without further ado, here we go. Jaguars defeated the Saints 31-24 in New Orleans on Thursday Night Football. Not much to take away from this one. The only thing to take away is Jacksonville might be a little overrated. But a win's a win, so good win for them. It'll be interesting to see how they match up when they come into Pittsburgh on Sunday. So that'll definitely be an interesting one. This one, though, we have a little bit to talk about. Lions get pounded by the Baltimore Ravens 38-6 in Baltimore on Sunday afternoon. This proves a couple things. Number one, Baltimore is legit. They're a very good football team, and this is one of their best teams they've had in a long time. It'll be interesting to see what the future holds for them, whether or not they can win this division, go on a deep playoff run. I did expect Baltimore to win this football game, but not by this much, obviously. So yeah, as for Detroit, they've played good football this year. They obviously got that big win in Kansas City. They've gotten big wins over Tampa Bay and others, and they have looked like a very good football team this year. This was just a bad loss. I think they needed a loss like this to possibly, it kind of serves as a little wake-up call that we're doing great things, but we're nowhere near where we need to be yet. We just didn't play our best this game, and so, yeah, time to move on, move forward, put it in the past, and get ready for Las Vegas next week for them. And as I said, for Baltimore, they needed this win in a tough division. Steelers, we talked about in the postgame, so. This was an upset, surprisingly. Not for me, but for some people, yes, it was. Tyson Bagnet, the rookie out of Shepherd University, led the Chicago Bears to a mammoth 30-12 upset over the Las Vegas Raiders. Everyone was, ESPN win probability and myself were like the only two, but most people were riding the Raiders in this one because they were on that 2-game hot streak, and the Bears had started this quarterback with no experience, but I was still going with the Bears because they're at home, and Vegas is not very good on the road. I don't think so. Big win for the Bears. This shows that they do still have somewhat of potential. 2-5 this year. As long as they can get to like 6, maybe 7 wins, that would be a team headed in the right direction. That's for sure. Big game for Tyson Bagent, and we'll see what the future holds for him. As for the Raiders, it's not looking good. I read something yesterday saying that Josh McDaniels had lost the locker room. That is certainly not good for the Raiders, and so I don't know where they go from here with a tough game in Detroit next week. This one was interesting for sure. The Steelers, the Eagles, and 10 seconds of the Vikings games were the games I watched, so not like I didn't watch a ton of football this week, but I did watch my fair share. That's for sure. Browns defeated the Colts 39-38. The win improves Cleveland to 4-2. This was a huge win for them, especially with the hyper-competitive AFC North. The AFC North is finally coming around. Everybody said how competitive of a division this would be. It's a very competitive one, that's for sure. Everybody is above or at 500 right now. That's what makes good football teams. So, yeah, this was a big win for Cleveland. They did truly need this one. The offense and the defense are both playing well together, and so that's why this win means so much to the Browns. This is not a bad football team. These are not your same old Browns, so keep an eye out for them. Impressive performance on both sides of the ball. That's for sure. As for the Colts, you're not a bad football team. You played much better than I expected you to play. You are heading in the right direction, that's for sure. However, it takes time. And you may be getting closer, but you're not there yet. So good luck for the Colts. This was a major upset this weekend. Bills get upset in Foxborough at the hands of the New England Patriots. 29-25. What a win for the Patriots. I was shocked in this one, and it shows how chaotic and crazy the NFL truly is. The Dolphins, and we'll get into them later, the very end, but the Dolphins went into Foxborough and they got destroyed by the Buffalo Bills, 48-20, and Miami's supposed to be this really good football team, and they got destroyed by Buffalo. Then Buffalo turns around, gets upset by New England here. At the very end, they lose 29-25. This was unfortunate, that's for sure, and losses like this is what hurts teams in the long run. So New England showed that they could be okay. I think New England, after they play the Dolphins here, I think New England might be able to get on a little bit of a hot streak looking at their schedule. It's Washington, it's Indy. Who's week 11? I think they might be on bye then, but then they play at the Giants, then the Chargers, then at Pittsburgh. And so they have potential to get on a little hot streak here. So don't count the Patriots out just yet for this year. Commanders and the New York Giants. The Giants upset the Commanders 14-7 at the Meadowlands in East Rutherford, New Jersey. This was a great win for the New York Giants. 2-5. This brings them 2-5. Obviously, that's still a disappointing record based off of last year for the Giants and how they did last year. But still, it's a big win for them, and they can build off this win. And possibly now with their schedule, I think their schedule gets easier after this. They have the Jets and then the Jets. That'll be a toughie. And then they play at the Raiders and at the Cowboys. So two of those games, the Jets and the Cowboys, will be toughies. And then after that, this schedule does not look horrible at all, except for Philly. So, and it appears that Gunnar Olszewski, who was with the Steelers, signed with the Giants. So that's a little funny to hear. But I think this team's getting better, that's for sure. They could possibly get 6, 7, maybe even 8 wins this year. So we'll have to see about that. As for the Commanders, this team is not very good, and they're going nowhere. So, yeah. Falcons upset the Buccaneers 16-13 in Tampa Bay. This was a big win for the Falcons, obviously, getting that 4th win. Sorry, it's my nose. Improving their record for the year to 4 wins and 3 losses. They needed this one, and I mean, the schedule does get easier, but it also gets tougher. But this is a game you need to win, and they found a way to win this game. And that's important for them. That's important for a team like Atlanta to win a game like this on the road in Tampa, and it shows that Atlanta's for real. As for Tampa Bay, these 2 losses shouldn't define them. Obviously, it's a tough game, tough part of the year coming up for Tampa, so it'll be interesting to see how they respond to this, for sure. Onward forward now, Seattle Seahawks defeating the Arizona Cardinals by a final score of 20-10. This was obviously not surprising. The Cardinals are not very good at all. They're struggling. So, yeah, that's all I have to say. They're definitely in line for a top 5 draft pick. This is year 1 of a rebuild. And as long as they can get 2 or 3 more wins this year, maybe even 4, you can consider it a successful year for them and still maintain top 5, even top 10 pick to pick a player they want. So there's a lot of room for improvement for this team. Who knows if they will still get the number 1 pick and get Caleb, but everyone was saying they would pick 1-2 because of the Houston pick. I doubt they get that Houston pick because Houston's playing well. Houston actually has a chance this coming week to get above 500. They play Carolina, so that'll be interesting to see whether or not they could do that. So, interesting times are coming for those teams. But anyway, though, it'll be interesting to see what can happen in Arizona. As for the Seattle Seahawks, they're playing like a good football team. They're back, and they mean it. This football team is good. Geno Smith is still very good, and Seattle is making a run. So, they're going to be around for a long time. So, I really like what Seattle's doing, for sure. Broncos upset the Packers 19-17 in Denver. Huge win for the Broncos. It avoids putting them at 1-6. Instead, improves them to 2-5. The same identical record they had last year. Bronco fans are probably upset about this because you might say you're not making much progress. You're not making much progress. So it'll be interesting. If this team can pull off a late run late in the season, it'll be interesting. They do have a bye week 9. Right before the bye, though, they play this coming week the Chiefs. And then it gets tough. The Chiefs, the Bills. They have the Vikings at home, which might be a tough game. So it's not easy for Denver. So to be able to get a win like this means a lot for them. So good win for Denver. As for Green Bay, obviously we all know this Green Bay team is not the same without Aaron Rodgers. So yeah, that's all I have to say. Chiefs defeating the Chargers 31-17 in Arrowhead. Taylor Swift was at the game again, supporting her rumored boyfriend, Travis Kelce. Chiefs played well, and they always do with Taylor Swift in attendance. And that's a big deal for the Chiefs. They've been on fire. They're 6-1. Not a surprise to many people. It shows how crazy this NFL is. I mean, and this actually helps Baltimore. This actually makes Baltimore and Pittsburgh even look really good. Here's why. So, Kansas City's one loss this year at home is to Detroit. Detroit just went on the road and got pounded by Baltimore. And Pittsburgh beat Baltimore. I know it was at home. And then Pittsburgh went on the road and beat the Rams. That shows you teams like Baltimore and Pittsburgh are legit and can be competitive. And that's a great thing. Especially for a team like Pittsburgh with Kenny Pickett, with their quarterback developing and still everything not right with the offense. This shows you that Pittsburgh is heading in the right direction. So that's for sure. That's a positive thing. Sorry, I'm just bragging about my hometown team a little bit on here, but Pittsburgh's definitely headed in the right direction. But I don't think the Chiefs are... They're obviously 6-1, but they're not the same team they used to be. So yeah. I'm wondering if Taylor Swift, and that's what I'm typing up right now, if Taylor Swift's going to be on tour overseas when the playoffs are. Because if she's there for the playoffs, then look out. Taylor Swift. I'm on our website right now. Oh! Would you look at this? I'm looking up her tour dates, her international dates. She's on tour the second weekend of November, the 10th and the 11th. That's their bye week. The 17th and the 18th, she's also on tour. And the 19th, that's when they play the Eagles. So that'll be interesting to see. Black Friday, Thanksgiving weekend, she's in Brazil, which is when the Chiefs play the... Who do they play? Sorry, I have to think about this for a minute. Do they play? The Raiders. So they played the Raiders. She's on tour in Brazil. And then she's in Tokyo the weekend of the Super Bowl. That's insane. So she's probably not even going to be able to make the Super Bowl. Should Kansas City make it. Which I don't know if they will. And then she's not back in the U.S. until next fall. So Taylor Swift will be around in Arrowhead and all that at the games for the Chiefs' playoff run. However, she's not going to be able to make the Super Bowl. So that's definitely interesting. It'll be interesting to see what happens. To see if the Chiefs can pull off another run and go back-to-back without Taylor in attendance. So... if they even make the Super Bowl, who knows at this point. It's so wild. But anyway, the Chiefs are 6-1. They're on a roll. As for the Chargers, I'll just talk real quickly about them. Things ain't looking too good for them, obviously. They're 2-4. I knew this team would be overrated. This team's overrated every year, so don't even say the Chargers are going to be good. They do have a quarterback with potential. They have a running back with potential. They have good receivers, and a good tight end or two or three or four or more. But they need some help. especially with the coaching. So that's all I have to say. Eagles bring back the Kelly Green uniforms on Sunday Night Football and defeat the Miami Dolphins 31-17 at the Link in Philly. So this was a big night for the Eagles. Philly might need their Eagles soon. Tonight's also a big night for the city of Philadelphia as the Phillies host the Diamondbacks in Game 7 of the NLCS. So if the Phillies lose tonight, then Philly will be relying on their Eagles to provide them with excitement and all that. And the Eagles didn't fall short this week of providing anybody in Philly with excitement. They put up a great night. Jalen Hurts looks really good. I love the brotherly shove. That's awesome. The way they work it. The way Sirianni finds a way to work that offense. The way Jalen Hurts' strength. The way he plays. This team is really good. So yeah, just good things all around for Philly. For sure. They are now the best team in the NFC officially. So as Detroit and San Francisco both lost, Philly is now the best team in the NFC, and they're poised to make the NFC run for Philly once again. So if the Phillies can win tonight, it's good times for Philly. That's for sure. But Philly, regardless of the outcome, the Eagles are looking good. Fly, Eagles, fly. As for the Miami Dolphins, this was just a tough loss. Obviously, people are doubting you because of your ability to win big games. You guys beat the Chargers. You guys beat the Patriots. Sorry to burp again. Beat the Broncos. Beat the Panthers. Beat the Giants. And you guys lost to the Bills and the Eagles. Everybody's saying you can only beat the bad teams, but not the good. I wouldn't consider that Patriots loss to a bad team. Because Buffalo beat them. Or no, Buffalo lost to them. So I wouldn't say that's a bad loss. Or a win over a bad team, I'm sorry. The Eagles are again, look, these teams are on the road. You're playing good football teams on the road. If this was in Miami, Miami might have won this game. They're going into Philly, who has one of the best crowds, if not the best, most passionate crowds in sports. Nowhere near close to Steeler fans, though. And you saw that this week in LA, so Steeler fans are the best. Eagles maybe second, but who knows? They just won in LA, or they have a fired up fan base, and the crowd was loud, and it was all about Philly. So you can't really blame Miami for this. It'll take more of a sample size, for sure. When they play the Chiefs in Germany, that'll be an interesting game for sure to see if they can pull that one off. Real quick now, our last game of the week on Monday Night Football. San Francisco got upset on the road in Minneapolis. Vikings pull off the 22-17 upset win over the Niners. So yeah, not a whole lot to say about this one. Vikings, they're on the right track. They're coming back. Don't doubt them at all. The schedule the rest of the way is convenient. Look at who they have left. At the Packers, at the Falcons, New Orleans, at Denver, Chicago. And then they have a bye. Every game before the bye is winnable for them. So it'll definitely be interesting. For people who thought this division was over and it's Detroit's division, I don't think so. I think Minnesota has a chance to come back. And I've been saying this all along. The Vikings have a huge chance to come back and possibly win this division or even make the playoffs. This is a good football team. They're just a couple pieces away from being a great football team. Really love the GM, what he's doing. Really love Kevin O'Connell, what he's doing. Although yesterday I will say that was so wrong. It was a big-time mistake on his part to say TJ go down in regards to TJ Hawkinson. That was a big mistake for him. However, he's still a young coach. He's still only in his second year. You're going to make mistakes. He's no Bill Belichick, so I hope people understand that. But that was a terrible decision, and the NFL does need to do something to possibly increase punishments for stuff like that because it hurts the game clock and all that. Either that or possibly allow teams to have more timeouts, like increase the number of timeouts allowed from 3 to 5, 3 to 6, maybe even 4. So, yeah, that's just something you need to look at, or possibly do 3 timeouts a quarter instead of 3 timeouts a half. obviously that system needs looked at, but I mean, what Kevin O'Connell did was wrong in that regards, and I will not support something like that. So just wanted to put that out there. But anyway, big win for the Minnesota Vikings last night. 49ers are okay, but it'll be interesting to see what happens if they can get their footing back. So, yeah. Anyway, that's all I have for you guys today on this recap. So, I hope you guys have a good week. We'll see you Thursday when we do our NFL Week 8 already predictions. So, yeah. As for the Steelers-Jacksonville game, as I've continuously mentioned, that game will be predicted on my Steelers Game Day pregame, so we'll tell you about that game then. And Steelers Game Day postgame, so we'll recap the Steelers game against the Jacksonville Jaguars at Acrisure Stadium on Sunday. And then next Tuesday, Halloween, we'll be right back here to recap Week 8. That's all I have for you guys today. Have a good one. Take care. Stay safe. Pray for Israel. And as always, peace. See you next week.